Internet of Things, nanotechnology, digital education, and e-commerce development, the modern world stands on the threshold of large-scale changes in the daily lives of people and the economy of entire regions. Even as we speak, the experts call these transformations as the fourth industrial revolution, inscribing them in consistent history of previous technological explosions. In a special program, Digital Kazakhstan, we tell about how they affect the internal processes in the Republic and the development of Kazakhstani science and technology. Today in our program, let's talk about how a peaceful atom helps Kazakh scientists to realize breakthrough projects in medicine. Why rhodium, iridic catalyst of young scientist Hadi Chakhan Rafikova, is called one of the largest discoveries in the Republic in recent years. And how virtual reality technologies are integrated into the educational process. In 2017, the world took a step closer to a future that fantasy authors prophesized for decades. Over the past 12 months, the world scientific community has unveiled a number of amazing discoveries that will radically change the world. So Russian and American professors created the first quantum computer consisting of 51 qubits. This device is still the most complex computer system of its kind. Scientists from the University of Wake Forest made a breakthrough in the field of regenerative medicine, and their colleagues from Portland edited the human genome for the first time in history. Kazakhstan science is also in trend of world processes. However, unlike foreign colleagues, domestic researchers prefer not bio, but nuclear medicine. Institute of Nuclear Physics has been engaged in the development of nuclear and radiation technologies for the national economy of our republic for more than 20 years. Moreover, nuclear medicine is one of the main directions that successes of radiation technologies use. We have been producing radiopharmaceuticals for more than 10 years based on 99 metastable technetium and 131 iodine and supply them to clinics of our country. Radioisotopes are used both for research and for treatment in various scientific and practical fields. Due to high efficiency, radionuclide diagnostics have become an integral part of clinical practice in developed countries of the world. In order to satisfy needs of the domestic market and overcome import dependence, several high-tech laboratories engaged in obtaining most important medical isotopes and radiopharmaceuticals, such as fluorodeoxyglucose, were deployed within the walls of the Institute of Nuclear Physics of the Ministry of Energy of Kazakhstan.
Пораженные участки отличаются от здоровых тем, что они в разы, в несколько раз больше потребляют глюкозу, чем здоровые.
Disease sites are different in that they often consume more glucose than healthy ones. Moreover, since fluorodeoxyglucose behaves like ordinary glucose, hence cancerous cells will consume the injected solution more than usual. And because of this, they can be seen on a tomograph.
Из-за этого их можно будет увидеть на томографе.
In the neighborhood laboratory, there are 3 identical hot chambers for specimens produced marked with 131 iodine. These chambers are equipped with dose calibrator for measuring drug activity, STEM autoclave sterilizer, and package device. Protection of employees from radioactive exposure provides a 100mm layer of lead. Now equipment is being calibrated, but from the beginning of 2018, mass production of medical products will be launched.
В Европе это направление давно уже имеет очень широкое распространение.
In Europe, this direction is already very widespread, and I hope in our country this will be a great help in the fight against cancer.
В борьбе с раковым заболеванием.
Radiopharmaceuticals are hardly the only development of the Institute of Nuclear Physics. In the neighborhood block, a line for production of sterile medical hydrogel dressings was designed and put into operation by employees of the Radiation Technology Center.
Состав гидрогелевой повязки – это
Composition of hydrogel dressing is a mixture of radiation cross-linked polymers such as polyvinyl prolidone, polyethylene glycol, and natural agar-agar thickener, and all this is in a mixture with distilled water. This mixture is cross-linked on electron accelerator, and here we simultaneously obtain both sterilization and polymerization of high molecular weight polymers.
Высокомолекулярных полимеров.
This idea was borrowed from Polish colleagues, but technology of production was developed by their own efforts. Final product belongs to most modern, third-generation dressing biomaterials. In Kazakhstan, there are no analogs of such invention.
Данные повязки гидрогелевые хорошо монтируются на раны, демонтируются с раны.
These hydrogel dressings are well mounted on wounds. They are dismantled from a wound without causing pain. This is the first task of our dressings. Second is excellent antimicrobial properties. Nothing penetrates through it, and healing is accelerated by 2 to 2.5 times.
2-2,5 раза.
Most recently, the final stage of 100 New Persons of Kazakhstan's project was completed in the country, which was conducted within the framework of Ruhani Janguru program. Total number of winners of universal vote reached 102 people, 18 of which are representatives of the Kazakhstani scientific community. Among them is Khadija Rafikova. Chemistry is a science of substances and their transformations. In general, all that surrounds us is chemistry. Therefore, from my childhood, I had an interest in chemistry as a science, and there was such a great desire to do something useful using this science. Result of scientific research of Khadija Rafikova was the invention of a new type of catalyst used in oil refining process. According to her, creation of rhodium iridic catalyst based on phosphorus containing ionic liquids is an absolutely new direction in the scientific sphere of Kazakhstan. We have developed a catalyst based on this ionic liquid for hydrogenation processes. Hydrogenation process is a petrochemical process, namely in the process of joint production of stearine and propylene oxide. Their byproduct is acetophenone in very large quantities. Well-known companies such as Shell, Arco Chemicals, Sumitomo process this product under very severe conditions. And our catalysts allow us to carry out process at almost zero atmospheric pressure, that is, without it, temperature is 80 degrees and environmentally friendly. Thus, Kazakhstani invention is not only an essential tool for creating its own competitive developments for oil refining, but more importantly belongs to the category of green technologies, since it allows carrying out process based on water, which is the cleanest and an environmentally friendly reagent. Along with innovative searches in Kazakhstan, process of science digitalization is actively going on, which is an indispensable condition for dynamic development of industry. First, it is scientific information digitalization. Nowadays, almost all publications in scientific journals take place in digital form. Scientific information exchange among researchers also occurs in digital form. Second aspect is that computer simulations are increasingly being used to obtain any scientific results. Students of International University of Information Technologies, which is one of the leading educational institutions in the Central Asian region, engaged in training personnel for the IT industry, know about the latter not by hearsay. Here, more recently, they began to apply such a trending educational innovation as virtual laboratory.
Если, допустим, раньше надо было использовать какое-то реальное оборудование, которое стоит на столах.
If earlier, for example, we had to use real equipment that stands on tables or occupies some large room, now only a computer and a mouse are enough for that. Student sits down, opens a program, starts, introduces some initial data, mass, length, some gas, depending on which experiment is physical. There is an experiment model that receives some data in the end, and it is already working with this data.
В конце он получает какие-то данные и уже работает с этими данными.
Virtual laboratories help students to learn new information and knowledge in natural sciences such as physics, chemistry, and biology. purpose of creating and implementing this technology in educational process is demonstration of certain phenomena and experiences that cannot be carried out in usual conditions of educational institution. Often, virtual representation of laboratory works includes a series of bright, memorable images which gives the teacher the opportunity to enhance emotional impact on listeners.
Начиная с первого курса, физика давалась мне очень
You know,
сложно.
since first year physics was very difficult for me, but Yevgenia Alexandrovna gave me a chance to understand it by studying these laboratory works. And I had interest in studying physics. I can run lab work on my computer at home, where it is convenient for me. I can work and understand the entire experiment.
Работать, полностью понимать весь эксперимент.
First virtual laboratories in the Republic were experienced in the Nazarbayev University, a university which today claims to be world-class research center. To date, over 450 researchers and scientists are employed at these laboratories. They work with international institutions on scientific projects in such priority areas as IT, energy, and medicine. At the Nazarbayev University, there are initiatives on creation of powerful computer systems and clusters for research in such areas as material science, atomic molecular physics, quantum chemistry, high-energy physics, and so on. In addition, according to its leaders, the Nazarbayev University has done tremendous work in terms of creating an infrastructure that helps to advance development in terms of business and marketing. Since financing of scientific research in Kazakhstan, as in many countries, remains a difficult issue. Science digitalization perhaps should be with research funding digitization. In our country, there is still a lot of paperwork that researchers should do, and it takes a very long time. To minimize paperwork, to optimize process of grants obtaining for research and helping to realize potential of domestic scientists through organization of an independent and objective examination, all this is included in the tasks of the National Center for State Scientific and Technical Expertise, located in Almaty. Many scientific dissertations, reports, books which were in paper form are accumulated here, and first we start to digitize them. Thus, we digitize the entire scientific base that we have in Kazakhstan, and now it is accessible by our scientists on the internet. Center also carried out works on the revision of a number of procedures, including those related to arrangement of scientific councils meetings. Voting for this or that project became anonymous and electronic. You can vote through a special application and an iPad for each of the items on the agenda. Unique login and password are issued directly for the meeting time and stop working after it is completed. Information system of online submitting applications for participation in competitions announced by authorized bodies of the Republic was developed and put into operation. A young employee, Akbulat Araylim, joined the development team. Thanks to efforts of her team, scientists anywhere in Kazakhstan submitted their applications for grants and program-targeted funding through the internet, which contributed to significant time savings. More than 30,000 scientists have already registered and created their own personal cabinets in the system. In this system, there is an obvious advantage. Scientists see all stages of examination. They submitted an application for examination. They have status on a formal test. After they pass it, status changes to expertise. And each time when the status of the application changes, notification comes to their email, through which they registered in the system. They can see their points there and download their expert opinion. For maximum objective evaluation of applications submitted in the framework of a tender for grant funding for 2018 to 2020, 2,120 experts from 56 countries of the world were involved. 3 independent experts evaluate each application according to predetermined criteria. Expert base was primarily based on Hirsch Index. It is a quantitative characteristics of scientist productivity, which should be at least 5 points.
В следующем году планируется доработка системы и организация...
Next year, it is planned to finalize the system and organize online reports applications receipt on completed works and dissertations. Statistics also speaks about dynamic development of innovation in science. According to Energy Prom, a project on Kazakhstani economy monitoring, in the first 3 quarters of 2017, volume of research and development services reached 75 billion tenge, which is 7% more than in the same period a year earlier.